What do you envy about the opposite? No periods. I haven't had a real period in over 13 years. I understand birth control isn't for everyone, and I am thankful that I have been able to react well to mine. It's glorious, and I am happy for it. Peeing in the woods seems way easier. I did that twice yesterday. 4-hour hike done into laps. Got off the trail and peed on the same mossy log about 75 feet off the trail behind a large pine tree so no one could see me. Felt amazing. More hair in the head and less in the body. Also expected to shave our body hair though. And also, I'm ugly enough with long hair that hides my face, so short hair isn't an option. But man, long hair S. Washing it S, brushing it S, it keeps falling in your face when you brush your teeth, but tying it up gives you a headache. Also, diving S because you're gonna rip out half your hair every time you put a dry suit on. Multiple orgasms. Men can have multiple orgasms. Takes patience, practice, and a high level of horny. I'm a man and I've done it quite a few times. It's just not as easy as it is for women who can do it. Maybe you know, but I'll say it anyway. Ejaculation and orgasm are two different things, but they typically happen at the same time. You can figure out your body and how to orgasm without ejaculation. Boobs? Just boobs. Ugh, I hate having boobs, especially bigger ones. They are heavy and can lead you to round your upper back if you don't make a conscious effort not to. They absolutely when exercising, even with the most supportive sports bra. Sweaty under boob is nasty and makes any movement on even a slightly warm day uncomfortable. Breast tenderness during your period. Discomfort lying on your tummy can be uncomfortable. Clothes fit weird. Not all women's clothes are designed to fit anything bigger than a B cup, and often to get something that fits your boobs, it doesn't fit everywhere else. Women have so many options for clothing for warm weather. I want to wear lightweight and free-feeling clothes to work in the summer. Jeans and button-downs are too warm. To clarify, I'm more complaining about the weight, breathability, and stretchy fabrics that women's clothes have in warmer weather fashion. I don't want swamp. Definitely benefits to men's clothing being pretty simple and functional. But damn, don't I get a bit jealous when I walk into Target and see some of cute women's clothing options like different dresses or sweaters with nice light fabrics and colors. For me, I just get tons of linen fabric clothing for the summer and hope I don't generate too much sweat. The amount of clothing that's available. You're a man, there is always have something wrong with women's clothes. Cute blouse, slightly see-through, tank top that matches the color, shows top of bra, bra that matches the color and is low cut, pinches in a certain spot. If on the off chance that I have a sheer blouse, tank top, and bra that makes it work, the weather will be hell. Having to wear a breezy shirt that feels amazing on your arms will make your body feel sticky with how tight the tank top is. Then you go inside somewhere air-conditioned and then only your arms get cold. Too warm to wear a jacket, too cold to be comfy. Jeans? No pockets. Jeans with pockets. Legs don't fit legs that do fit. Hips don't fit pants that make thighs look good. Pucker above the butt. Pants that make butt look good make the legs look dumpy. Shoes are just in another ballpark. Women's clothing is insane to find. My husband can walk in a store, grab something by just checking the size and leave. Honestly, feeling desired relationship-wise. Getting a compliment is so rare that I nearly always remember them for at least 2 years. I'm sorry that over 1,000 people feel this way. I hope you all know that you aren't alone in this sense, and that you are doing your best to get through tie situations. I still remember a woman stranger telling me as we were leaving an elevator that I smelled great. That was 11 years ago. My first wife, I honestly don't recall a single compliment on my appearance in the 12 years we were together. Second wife was similar, no compliments directly to me ever, but one time she called me hot to one of her friends when she didn't know I could hear her. That was 14 years ago. I get jealous of the liberties women get in dress and expression. I am not a person who believes in gender roles, but I believe there are social consequences to how we present ourselves to the world. I would like to dress in a more expressive way, but I don't want to be treated differently for it. I wear bright shoes and colors a lot regardless. As a straight man, the people who judge are usually irrelevant. It only advise against bright colors in a professional environment where you work with boomers. Any other time you'll get compliments if your outfit is actually nice. And at worst, funny looks from old people and people afraid of any level of expression. Think cargo shorts and t-shirt every day. Think spending money on anything non-essential is dumb. I think a lot of older people's distaste for bright colors comes from being in a generation that said purple and pink are girl colors. They don't have periods. One day, I woke up covered in period blood. I spent my entire day in the bathroom crying. It's emotional torture for me, and I imagine many other women. I had to go on birth control when I was 12 because my period was so heavy. Yes, 12. I remember they were teaching line dancing at my junior high, and I was going through some really serious menstrual issues and had to miss school for almost a month. That was when we made the appointment. My period had been going for weeks. I was in so much pain that I'd vomit or faint. One morning I was late for school because I was going through tampons within minutes, so it was easier to just sit on the toilet and bleed. When I finally slowed down enough to walk to school, yes, walk, I headed right into the locker room to change. Gym was first period and again got stuck on the toilet because I was bleeding so much. When all the other girls finished changing and head to the gym, I was unable to leave the bathroom stall. My gym teacher, a man, I was just trying to get out of line dancing and poked his head into the locker room to yell at me while the entire gym was waiting for me to come out. Humiliated, I tried to stuff as much toilet paper in my panties as possible, in addition to the pad and tampon, and when I sat down in line for roll call, I had already bled through my shorts and onto the floor. I ended up sneaking away after roll call and walking back home. I was suspended. It would be nice to be emotional or cry without being viewed as weak or unable to manage things under pressure. It doesn't feel like I can be vulnerable without being viewed and treated a certain way for it. I'm not a masculine type of guy and feel tired of always wearing a mask of apathy. I want to be myself without being judged by it from both genders. I'm not sure if this is specifically a gender thing, more a social one. I'm a woman and I too have a problem with crying or generally being perceived as weak. It's not like women have a free pass on these things. They are still viewed as too emotional, too sensitive, or even hysterical. And it's for all of us. The female orgasm seems very intense. Always wondered what it would be like. Think that as a trans woman who's had orgasms both on testosterone and on estrogen. I can weigh in here. I'll be abbreviating testosterone as T and estrogen as E for this. On T, it's a pretty short relief, mostly just in the genital area. I'm pretty sure it felt weaker for me than for others because of the whole dysphoria thing, but I think most men feel the same, as in the short relief thing. On E, on the other hand, it takes more to reach it. Just fiddling with my genitals for a while won't do it. But when I do get there, it's a full body thing. Sometimes it feels like my head is heating up. Sometimes I struggle to speak afterwards because it's so much. It also goes on for longer on T. There was a short, okay, I'm coming soon, and then it just kinda happened for a short moment, whereas on E it can easily go on for like half a minute. I think, haven't measured, and I can't promise I'm good at estimating time during, feeling intense throughout and getting more until eventually it collapses. Just reducing it to the orgasm wouldn't be complete though. The whole thing feels different. Even just being horny is already a different emotion. Less of just a pressure in my head and more of a full body want. The first time I got really horny on E, the best comparison I found was to say my stomach felt kind of like I was nervous, which isn't a perfect comparison but the best I can offer. A trans mask friend of mine also once mentioned that for him, testosterone orgasms too are much shorter, but apparently also more intense than estrogen ones. I can't weigh in on this as my and his, for that matter, data is skewed due to dysphoria though. I know everyone's experience is different, but for me it's mainly being taken seriously. Just my observation of what I've seen of the men around me, but generally they don't get questioned when they're saying something or stating a fact. If I'm with a group of guys, they'll tend to talk over me or try to argue or debate about something that I know is a fact. Even with proof and evidence, it's still questioned. I work in a bar and I've noticed men like to patronize me as well. As a guy, I've noticed that the females in my classroom would generally get ignored or talked over in conversations or answering questions. One thought that comes to mind is a certain girl in my class who is really smart and always has the right answers. But the teacher just magically doesn't hear her whenever she speaks, but will correct to the boy that shouted out the same answer like a minute later. No one bats an eye when a guy takes off his shirt. I would get in trouble for indecent exposure. Actually, it's surprisingly legal in a lot of areas. Look up your local laws and do as you will. My so is a stickler for that specific right. She frequently goes on runs topless. Granted, we live in a rural area, so she rarely sees another soul, but the sentiment is there. She's been frequently topless around me since she was 15, and been going topless in public, area applicable of course, since she was 19. Even been to a few pools in the city when we lived there for a while. She'd usually ask the management beforehand, and they surprisingly never said no. Quick note about the above pool thing: if it's a pool that's considered a park and is funded by the government, county, the state laws apply as it's state property. But if it's a privately owned pool, they can within reason deny you to do certain things. Keep this in mind. The two locations we went to were both county-ran parks. Privately owned water parks might not be so lenient, as it is up to the discretion of the owners. You'd be surprised at how many people don't care. It's almost always not as big of a deal as you think. How easy it is for most of them to get ready for the day. They look good without doing anything extra. With men, you either have it or you don't, which is its blessing and curse. If you're 6 feet with a head full of hair, clear skin, and a robust beard, you can just roll out of bed looking good, with minimal effort. But if you're short with a bald spot, acne scars, and a patchy beard, there's no help for you. Lifts, makeup, toupees, penciled beards, these are all maligned by society the way not putting on makeup is for women. That said, I think women sometimes don't realize how much weightlifting some guys do to have some passable bulk. Strength: I am fit and I am strong. I'm in the gym at least 5 times a week, but I will still never catch up in strength to my boyfriend who goes half as often unless I dedicated my life to it. He puts in a fraction of my effort but can outlift and outrun me easy and probably always will. It can be really demoralizing at times. And he gets to pee standing up, doesn't have to worry about birth control or periods, and can reach the top shelf. Is unfair. I've never been unsure about my gender, but goddamn if I had a choice I would 100% come back as a dude. Dresses: I love dresses so much. I always wanted to wear those, but it's not possible if I want to still be taken seriously in my society and culture. Being a woman, I was made to wear dresses from a young age, when all I wanted to do was climb trees and ride bikes with my mates. I bequeath to you all the dresses. Every dress I never wore as an adult is now yours. You could always buy a dress to wear as you're around the house, casual attire, no? Or layer up underneath so people think you're just wearing really cool trousers. Have a vast wardrobe of exciting and unexpected designs, ranging across different cultures and different ages, and people may never catch on that you have dresses mixed in. Just a suggestion. It's your life. You're not living it for random strangers. Just wear a dress, lad. Cross-dressing is cool AF, and it takes a lot of pride to do it. If you're still self-conscious about it and want a tip on getting more confidence and comfortable in it, then buy a kilt and wear it around the house until you're not even thinking about the fact that you're wearing it. Then wear it out in public on your daily commutes or wherever else you'd go normally until you feel confident in yourself, and make sure let no one stop you. Then once you feel okay wearing the kilt, switch to a short dress like a summer dress. Perfect time of year to wear one and walk around your house again until you can't tell you're even wearing it. Then finally burst out of your cocoon and wear that dress in public, baby. And if you ever see anyone looking at you funny or strangely, just imagine they're thinking, damn, he must be so brave and confident to wear that beautiful attire outside. You can also try wearing a gown like another commenter suggested if you're still not ready for a full-blown dress. Men's clothes are made more sturdily and don't have stupid weird cuts. Usually I'm layering to jumpers, a long shirt, and 2 pairs of pants in winter. I went and bought a men's pair of trackies and jumper and was like, this is actually almost too warm the last cold day we had. Doesn't help I'm 5'2", so a men's XS is like a woman's size large, as everything is baggy if I buy guy clothes. You can buy a large youth size to get around that. It's surprising that boys' clothes are so durable. But keep in mind that there aren't as many options for said clothes. We men don't have a lot of variety. Not having to deal with always fluctuating hormone levels affecting my mood and body, and not getting my period. That would be amazing. Hang on to periods because hot flashes are proof that life is hell on earth. The easiest way to get rid of them is to keep yourself as hot as possible so you don't notice them as much. You will fluctuate between boiling hot to feeling like you are bare naked on an ice floe and your bones hurt because you are so incredibly cold even though the heat is up to 25 in the house. You have a fuzzy onesie on and 2 goose down duvets over you. Enjoy hormone fluctuations and periods. It's no fun when it's over. Guys not having to deal with the menstrual cycle and being able to take their shirt off when it's hot. Us girls wear a freaking bra. That depends where you are. If you are on a beach and therefore can go topless as a guy without anyone looking weird, it's great to be a guy, but if you are inside a city or God forbid a workplace where it is expected to be dressed decently, there are a lot more options for girls to wear really light and cool clothes. Most extreme example is that even if we are no longer expected to wear a suit, it's still really common to be expected to wear long jeans or trousers at any day to work, while the females can wear skirts or even some kind of dresses, which makes the heat a lot less frustrating. The fact that they can basically get whatever they want out of me and all they gotta do is pretend to be interested, or you keep your head down. If anything, the comment is just to point out the fact that women have a certain way with men when motivated. I'd say most straight guys have done dumb over a female. That being said, the responses it's gotten have been so of the best things I've ever read, so I was trying to just let it ride and see how far it'd go, but I'm bored getting ready for work. No, I'm not out here simping for every woman, just handing out my personal info. Nor am I just some dope with no self-esteem whining and crying. Just a regular dude making tongue-in-cheek comments randomly on Reddit. Oh, there's quite a bit. Clothing. Women have lots of options and their clothes are generally not that pricey. They have lots of options for accessories as well. Men don't have nearly the selection. Our clothing departments are a tiny corner of a store usually. I can understand that. Women would sometimes see that completely the opposite, that we have the luxury of not having to put much effort into our clothing. How society values them. Men in general feel disposable. Nobody ever really values us. Compliments are so few and far between that they might as well not exist. Relationships. If there's a problem in your relationship, it's always the guy's fault, even if it's because she cheated. People always ask a guy who gets cheated on, "What do you do to drive her away?" I've never heard of a woman getting asked that about a cheater. Family dynamics. Girls develop closer bonds with their family. Boys get sent out into the world basically on their own. Please don't read this as the rant of an incel. There's a lot that's good about our gender too, and a lot about being a woman too. Complaining about getting 1,000 messages a day by opposite, getting hit on at store, invited into hotel rooms. Things ex-girlfriends have told me while I reminisce about the one compliment I get every 3 years. I can see how that would seem like something to envy, and the lack of compliments for men is a very real thing. But try to remember that when a woman compliments you, there's a much lower likelihood that if you react in a way she doesn't love, that she'll respond with physical violence, stalking, or harassment. It's not that it never happens to men, it does. It's just that it's so damn frequent for women that we look at any compliment as potentially being a prelude to something much more sinister. It kinda negates the value of the compliments. Basically, both sides of this coin are super tie. As a man, what I envy about women is the general understanding and support they receive for the issues they face. However, it's important to recognize that men also face their own unique challenges that are often overlooked or minimized in society. Men are frequently subjected to misinformation and stereotypes that can lead to a lack of understanding and support for their experiences. For example, some people assume that men don't deal with hormones or mental health issues, when in fact they do. Men also have higher rates of suicide, lower life expectancy, and unequal treatment in family courts or workplace settings. It's important to have open and honest discussions about these issues and work towards creating a more equitable and supportive society for all genders. I don't know, if men aren't conventionally attractive, they can still have friends and a social life kinda, but if it's a woman, we tend to be valued mostly going off our looks. And if we are not conventionally attractive, it won't just impact our dating prospects. It will make it so we are more likely to be bullied, shunned, harder for us to make friends or keep a decent job. So yeah, being not so pretty, especially if you don't or can't do anything to change it to look slightly prettier. Wear better looking, cuter clothes and makeup every time you go anywhere. You will be treated badly on all fronts except familial and maybe a friend or two. And if your family are toxic and you don't have anyone else either, you're Ed. Lower societal pressure in the lower middle class area. Women generally have an easier time finding jobs. They tend to fit in just about everywhere. This script flips when it comes to making worthwhile money and true respect in the workplace, but when I was younger I would have taken a job with pay over not being able to get one at all. The societal norm of men approaching women to date. I've been fairly lucky in this regard, but I'm incredibly shy and willfully ignorant to subtle women's advances. So I'll just overlook all the signs and go about my day. 10 years later, haha, I liked you so much. Perceived platonic relationships. I realize this is a two-way street, but as a dude, having a chick friend while in a relationship is a war crime, and the simple audacity of me to argue it. Meanwhile, women are expected to have male friends, and they all have that one. I've had one chick friend in my life that stayed my best friend until she died, only because A, she was already loosely friends with the women I dated, and B, I literally prefaced those relationships with "this is my best friend, take it or leave it." All that being said, I'm happy I'm a dude, because from what I've seen, I definitely prefer it. These are small nitpicks. Being cared for. I've seen a lot of help for women, companies and such tailored for women, while I've seen little for men. But also socially, women will help women they've never met. Men helping men they've never met, I've not really seen much. I've tried to be that guy, but I know I can do more. But I remember when my ex asked for a break, though we both kinda knew it was a breakup, I cried for an hour. But I was sitting in a train station, a very public and packed station, and no one talked to me. I'd never felt more alone. That was 7-ish years ago. I was gonna say social support networks, but it seems like what men have to put up with in terms of loneliness, women have to put up with in terms of friends who seemingly wage psychological warfare on each other for fun. As a guy, all of my drama revolves around romantic situations, like if I'm with somebody and we're happy, there is absolutely nothing wrong in my social life. If guy friends hate each other, they just won't talk for a bit and it's perfectly acceptable. On the other hand, every single girl I've ever been involved with has friends and connections available to her at all times, but also endless, soul-crushing friend drama that comes along with that.